Okay, this one is a no crank, no start, and a fuse keeps popping. I got to pull up the diagram for that. I have a printed out diagram, but I can't read it. Printer sucks. They already replaced the starter, which is under here, and they left it like this, so that's good. But they think this was jumped backwards. This fuse was blown the 140, so they replaced the fuses here, the fuse assembly, whatever. IPDM's already hanging out here. And this 30 amp fuse way back here, which is DIG, whatever that is, I have to look that up, is the one that keeps popping. I just want to put this in line. Supposedly it's only blowing when you crank it. Really, I'm kind of hands off on this. I'm supposed to have an assistant because I'm actually injured. Let me make sure my test light works. Okay. And this is a 2 amp test light. So I got this, and we're gonna, so I don't know what's up with that. I gotta find out what that fuse is. But that is lit the whole time, so that's a dead short. So actually, it's short with the ignition on. I'm gonna diagnose the starter first. We'll take it from there. There's the diode in the IPDM. Don't know if that was affected at all. This probably has a shit ton of codes right now for everything unhooked. We get the blue, which is pin 4. I'm assuming that's this one. What's that red? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Goes to the starter motor. On that blue one, it's hot at all times. I'm good there. All right, there's 1 amp. Okay. So this here should light up when I crank it. If I can see it. And it doesn't. So I'm not getting anything out of the IPDM. What I want to do now is I want to test this wire instead of going there. So that circuit's good. This circuit's good. So that tells me the wiring's good. Sensitive. I have to check to make sure that this is getting the signal to start. The relays are internal to this. It has a starter relay and a starter control relay. So the brown 48, let's see what this connector is. Hopefully it has information. 48 brown. I got 12 volts on here. There's no change. The other one is E13, red and white. There it is. It's this little guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Yep. So I'm creating a path to ground. Those are the relays. Let's see if that works. So there's no change. I want to see what this fuse is, so I want to go to power distribution. None of this is helpful.
Well, somehow
we got to go through everything.
Somehow that fuse got blown.
Yeah, 140 amps is a big fuse to blow. So that was a lot of current going in the spots it shouldn't go. One thing I know is it can go back together. So I know the circuitry to the starter is good. Okay, so that's a clue. No comm, probably. No codes. How's he got no codes if there's no communication? There's no comm. This is it. Relay box 1. Engine control module. Key is on. I believe this is the ECM. I'm going to disconnect it. Ah, there it is. When I disconnect the PCM, light goes out. I was suspecting the IPDM. Somebody jump started this backwards. Popped the 140 amp fuse. They replaced the starter. I checked the starter circuit from here. That's good. I noticed you don't have any communication with the ECM. That's why you don't have any codes. I wanted to scan it because I was thinking maybe because all this shit's disconnected,
Yeah, I thought
it was disabling it. Your starter, this can go back together. The starter, from here, I can make this thing crank, right? So whoops. So the wiring and everything is good. So that can go back together. That's known good. But that is what's shorted. It's on this connector here. If I can even get it. Is the light lit? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Nissans are the worst. See, I'm just gonna check all the powers and grounds, and that's all I'm trying to do now is find the wiring for the powers and grounds and just make sure that your powers and grounds are all good. For this, I got to put the fuse back in. Fuel injector driver power supply, and this is driver power supply. All right, ECM ground. You got a nice bright light. Powers and grounds are good.
The tow truck driver put his box on it and he seen it spark, and the guy, he might have had it backwards, wrong somewhere, because this fuse was blown.
That's pretty much the only way that goes, unless you have a dead short. That's why I was looking up here. I didn't see anything. I didn't see no arc.
I think he might have had a problem, but then the tow truck driver did that, because he said, all I did is come out and hit the button and it just wouldn't start. And he told the tow truck driver when he got there, and the tow driver, oh no man, it sounds like a battery.
Battery is bad. I mean, it was only at 10 volts, so I mean, it's not going to do it. If you're too low, it's not even going to attempt to start.
Right. So he tried to whatever he was trying to do before he even called me to call the tow truck driver, and the tow truck driver came over and, oh yeah, it's probably the battery, you know what I mean? And because like I said, I ain't never seen one of these come in this blown here. I had nothing.
I have on your son's car, the Nissan.
Who, Evans?
Yeah, because he jumped, not Evan, the one that had the Xterra.
Oh, Josh.
Josh, yeah. Because he did the same thing. He jumped it backwards. And luckily it was just that fuse. And I got it to my house with a paper clip. I just shoved the paper clip in there just so I could drive around the block.
Yeah.
So at least the engine can go back together. You know that's good. You might be right. You might have another problem. You really can't know that until you get this figured out. If this ECM's not talking to anything, it's not going to let anything start.
Yeah, but you said you couldn't even get it to scan inside, right?
Yeah, because it keeps blowing that fuse. That's a main power fuse.
And the only thing that could short that out is if it's shorted out in here.
Yeah, I tested the wires. The wires are, this is the bottom one. The wires they're good. You know what I mean? I tested the powers and grounds
and it doesn't
on
happen
the connectors.
until you plug it in.
Yeah, if you plug that in right now and turn the switch on, that's going to pop. If you ever get in a position where you're popping fuses, instead of keep throwing fuses in, put a test light in series. The test light will be the fuse. It'll light up. If it's lit up, it shouldn't be. It should not be lit. One side's ground and one side's power. That's what that means. And that works pretty good for like wiggle tests. You know what I mean? You wiggle around and stuff like that. Have somebody get it out. Might be able to open it up.
What good would that do?
If I can maybe repair it or clone it. Ooh, motherfucker's burning. Ooh. That pin right there, all the way at the top right, is the power. And this one here, all the way here, is the ground. Should not have continuity there. It's another ground. Proof. Internal short. Disconnect it, short goes away.